Alrighty then. All right. All right. This is Hack Nation Live. I'm your host, Aaron Bennett. Missed you guys last week, but I'm back. I'm back again. To do what we always do. If you're new to the show, every Wednesday, 7 to 9 Central Time, we come on here. We're usually joined by quite a few colorful characters where we just try to help people in our industry being the heavy on highway, marine, oil, gas, and so on. Diesel engines in particular, and all of their components. If you don't know, we are a parts manufacturer, parts supplier, and a engine manufacturing company that likes to give back as much as we can every week just by coming on here and helping people with questions and seeing how many people we can help out fix trucks on the fly, so to speak, or whatever else. How you doing, guys? I can't tell if we're moving on. Looks like we're up on Facebook and YouTube as well. If you guys don't know, we stream on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok every Wednesday night. I missed last week. If you follow me at all, you probably know we were gone in Chicago touring the facility that is making our oil. So I did miss last week. I try not to miss them. In fact, I have a plan. I'm going out of town. I'm going out of town here in like 3 weeks and taking a trip down the East Coast on a boat that I purchased. And I plan to take all this equipment so we can continue to do the show even from afar. I already have a Starlink, so do we do the new DD series, like the DD15s? We support those. We have pretty much everything for them, but we're not currently building long block pluses for them, if that's what you're asking. What do I consider blow by? That's actually a good question. Let's go ahead and talk about that. What would I consider blow by? Because all engines have blow by. I have demonstrated that to you guys, that even a brand new engine will have blow by, and I can even give you numbers on that. When we rebuild an engine here, we have a CFM machine that measures CFM, and on a brand new engine at a dead idle, you can expect to see somewhere between 3 and 4 CFM. You get that engine under load, in other words, boost pressure pushing down on the piston crowns. You can see it climb as high as 7, 8, brand new engine. So just having blow by is a natural part of having an engine. You cannot just eliminate it. Now, if you know anything about us, we did develop a ring, a gapless ring for the middle that does cut that down to half a CFM at idle and somewhere even lower than what a regular engine is at an idle when we're boosted up. So there are things to mitigate it quite a bit. Well, we have the only thing on the market that will mitigate it quite a bit, actually. But even then, even with our gapless rings, you're still going to have some CFM of crankcase pressure. So, a long answer for a simple question. What do I consider blow by? Blow by is one of the more accurate way to measure your blow by, because everybody didn't have a CFM machine in their back pocket. I mean, the one that we had was like $3,000 or $4,000 just to be able to measure CFM. Who has that in their back pocket? What shops have that? Well, they don't. So oil consumption is a really good way to measure the extremeness of the blow by. So long story short, I asked my brother earlier if he wanted to be on the show with me. Brother's a brilliant guy, owned trucks for years and years. But he never got back to me. Now he's texting me, how do I get on the show? It's not really how it works. I got to set it all up and send him invites and bring him in. I'm sure he can hear me. Um, we just have to set it up for next week, Nate. I'd have to shut all this down. My brother's name is Nathan. I have to shut all this down and get you in here um and kind of set it up. You know what I mean? So you're a little too late. But what I'm telling you, there isn't 100% true because take like a Cummins. A Cummins has a recovery on it, and it's recollecting your blow by and putting it back into the engine. So even though I'm giving you a means and methods, the best means and methods, really, in conjunction with oil consumption, is doing um, oil analysis. Right. So your oil analysis is going to tell you if you're getting if the oil is getting acidic, if the oil is oxidizing, if uh, you're getting high levels of carbon and soot. So really, the best tool in your bag, guys, is going to be a simple oil analysis. We have them. Give us a call. We can hook you up. You can get them off Amazon. There's no excuse. They're not expensive. Like a between $20 and $30, depending on who you're getting it from. They're pretty effortless, no matter who you get them from, for the most part. Like if you get ours, we send it to you. You take the oil sample, comes with the everything you need. You put it, we send you the bottle and the bag. You put the bottle in the bag. It's already pre-labeled. You put it in the mailbox. It sends out. It does everything for you and just sends you an email and tells you what you got going on. $25 at Butler Cat. Cat does have them too. They're not $25 though. I think they're substantially more than that. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I bought one, but I'm about 99% sure they're quite a bit more than that. Can I elaborate on our oil and say how it's better than AMSOIL? See, here's part of the problem with that, brother, is you got to be careful making claims that you're better than somebody. You know what I mean? I really don't want to end up in court trying to prove we're better than somebody. Let me put it to you this way, okay? How do I say this? So, the best oil that you can possibly have is PAO oil, which is not actually a petroleum product. It is made from synthesizing gas. So you get gas and like a vapor, like a true gas, and you put it through a chemical process and you turn it into an oil like substance. It's not actually a petroleum. So that is a true synthetic oil that is going to vastly outperform a tier 3 conventional oil that's been hydrocracked multiple times. Now, I want you guys to understand something. Pound for pound, while they're both a good product, a tier 3 oil will perform right alongside a tier 4 oil and can even on paper outperform a tier 4 oil. The problem is that the half-life of that tier 3 oil, even if on small numbers it outperforms and I should say group, it's not tier. Your group 4 oil could be outperformed by some group 3 oils on the market, but not for very long, right? So when I'm trying to tell you guys we have the best oil, our oil you can technically run indefinitely, like you never change the oil. If you have a good bypass system that is cleaning the oil. So why would I say our oil is better than AMSOIL? In my opinion, that's the legal disclaimer. In my opinion, is because when you do certain tests to it, like drop tests to our oil, your drop test is when you freeze oil, and PAOs don't freeze because they don't have any wax in them. Only group 3 oils have wax in them. So when we take a side-by-side sample and go to dump them out, one pours and the other doesn't. Does that make sense? So if one doesn't pour, That means even though it's advertised that it does have group 4 and group 5 esters in it, it also has group 3 esters in it, and they're not required to tell you that. So, um, do I know for a fact? Um, let's just say I've seen it with my own eyes. How about that? Anyway, don't want to spend the whole night talking about oil for sure, guys. We do have some callers here. You know, we don't want to be an oil company. We really don't. That's what a lot of people don't understand. I'm excited to have our own petroleum product. I mean, I guess it's not even technically a petroleum. I'm excited to have our own oil, and that it's the best oil people can get. But it's a side note from everything else that we do, just so we can kind of provide everything. We're bumper to bumper, so to speak, for your engine. Okay, we have some callers. I want to see if the phone line works. So let's go ahead and take a caller now. Scott, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, appreciate you. I'm a retired truck driver, 32 years, and wish you were around 20 years ago. I got a friend who just rebuilt a 6NZ, and they charged him $32,000 an in-frame. Nothing exterior was done. Absolutely nothing was touched on the exterior. That seemed like a little overpriced to you.
Well, I mean, sorry, my mic. Let me get my mic going here. Hello. Yeah, I mean,
Hello.
it yes and no, right? It depends on what was getting done. Have I ever had an in-frame go that high? The answer is yes, right? But it wasn't because the labor drove it that high. That makes sense. So every quote we've ever given anybody ever, the labor quote is really the same. There's X amount of hours that it takes to do an engine. And those are book times. So an in-frame on a 6NZ, this might blow your mind, but it's about 40 hours. If you want to go on the high end, it's 45 hours. Okay, that's what it should take you to do a 6NZ. So, let's say let's say the shop. Do you know what the rate of the shop was?
No, I do not. This was a very small individual shop.
Okay, so let's say
they did it.
Let's give them the huge benefit of the doubt and say they're 150 an hour. Okay, you know what? Let's go higher. Let's say they're $180 an hour, which is highly unlikely. And we'll give them the way higher end of the hours, 45 hours. That's $8,100. How much did you say that he paid?
32,000.
Okay, so 32,000. So he bought $23,900 in parts.
Would you do that for just all the internals?
Well, an in-frame kit's about
no crank.
Right, an in-frame. Okay, so we're at $24,000, and of course we gotta have shop supplies and all the other nonsense guys charge you for.
Sure,
but let's take that. So let's call it $20,000. We'll give them $4,000. You got to understand, we're giving these guys huge leeway, so we're going to give them $4,000. That means that your man bought $20,000 in parts, an in-frame kit, an expensive one. Let's say they marked it up. Okay, so we'll go 3,800. So because they marked it up. Okay, and then their cylinder head, let's say they marked that up, so we'll go 4,200 on that. So we're at 8,000. We still gotta figure out where the other 12,000 went.
Yeah, and I watch your show all the time, but that's what I was probably trying to figure out where this money was allocated. It didn't make sense to me.
No, they just make it up.
We got it back, and it threw belts, and the AC wasn't working, the speedo didn't work. There's a lot of things that weren't done. Valves that we changed on the outside.
Right.
Just a lot of nitpicking stuff, which is fine.
Right. You get into an engine, and a guy needs counterboard. He needs a new spacer plate. He does the head. He does the in-frame kit, and he ends up needing spacer plate. He ends up needing counterboard. He ends up needing shims. He ends up needing head bolts. He ends up needing pins and rollers at a camshaft and a turbo and a manifold and we start an oil cooler, oil pump, water pump, and a dampener. And then we're starting to, okay, and my front structure's leaking, and so we put a new front main seal in while we're there, and yada yada yada. Have I ever had in frames that went to 32,000? Shit, yes. Shit, yes. But those people were leaving with damn near as new as engine they can get, barring pulling the fucking thing out and we do an out of frame, right?
Exactly.
So asking me if that's a good deal, I would have to know what all they did. And if they put an in-frame kit and threw a head on it, then no, they fucked him really, really hard.
Yeah, that's basically. But they did more. They did have to pull cylinders.
They had to do what?
They were out around. What do you? I'm not that detailed mechanic. Where they had the cylinders are out around.
That's not a thing.
He could not get the sleeves. He said he couldn't get the sleeves to go back in there, so he had to bore it, I guess.
Okay, so he has a lower boring machine?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
And that can run you anywhere from $1,200 to $2,400, depending on what shop you're at.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. He had to have a third party do it, of course.
Oh, so he had to bring somebody in, and maybe they did do the lowers in place. That's an almost unheard of thing. That is, I've only ever met one person in my life that owns that tool, and they just acquired it a couple weeks ago. And I've only ever seen it done one time, or heard of it being done one time.
Wow. Okay.
So, anyhow,
the likelihood.
Right, there's nothing wrong with having a $32,000 in frame, parts and labor, oil, coolant, filters broke in out the door. If the value,
oil coolant is not replaced.
If the value's there.
I got you. That's what I was getting at. I still think quality work was there, along with the presentation of the motor. You couldn't tell that it was touched.
My friend, that's actually a separate line item. Oh, they didn't zip tie anything. Yes. This bolt was loose, this and that. That's a separate conversation. It really is. And if they charge,
right? Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying they shouldn't have done a good job, but if they charge you $12,000, they should have done a good fucking job.
That's my opinion exactly. That's
so it's really a separate.
Just who you are.
Separate line item for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just felt that was a real high price for what was done.
Yep.
I really do. So
anyway, brother, go give him the good news that he got a great deal. That way he feels better.
Oh, I'm damn sure not going to tell him any different. Have a good one.
All right. Have a good night. Anyway. Yeah, I'd like to get my brother on here. I'll get him on here next week. He's an amazing mechanic, owned multiple trucks, ran all of his trucking was on the Alaska Haul Road. He'd be fun to have on here. Really smart guy. Smart enough to get out of trucking. Anyway, this is a predominantly a call-in show, guys. So we're going to go back to the callers. I do enjoy the comment sections, but kind of can't do both. So if you're new here, the number is to call in is 573-422-4225. That's 573-422-4225. And we'll go back to the callers. We got quite a few of them sitting in the queue, so we better keep after them. Hello, brother. You're on the air. What can I do for you?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, brother. I have an issue with my Cummins X15. We did an overhead adjustment back in January. And after done the overhead adjustment, my truck fuel mileage dropped from 7.5 to almost 5.5 with a full load. I brought my truck back to a dealership. Nothing changed. I changed my IMAP sensor, exhaust gas pressure sensor. Nothing changed. So I'm a little worried, like, what could be wrong?
Well, does it run good?
It runs good, like, but the fuel mileage is really bad.
I understand. I wasn't. You already told me about the fuel mileage, so I didn't need to ask about that. I'm asking if it runs good.
Yes, pulling good on a hill. It's not dropping any like power.
So we could probably rule out the overhead as being the problem and call that correlation is just coincidence. There's probably something else going on. The idea that it's gonna just run just fine, and we ran an overhead. And you got to understand, when you run the overhead, you're doing mechanical adjustments. Okay, and so
Yep.
mechanical adjustments don't just, you don't notice them and everything stays fine. They also don't come and go. They're constant all the time, right? So the idea that the overhead caused the problem is slim to none. And it sounds like you took it back to a shop and maybe had them run it again and still have the same problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
I brought to a dealership and they said like it was not adjusted properly. They adjusted back properly, but nothing changes.
Probably because it was adjusted properly the first time. They just wanted to justify charging you the second time.
Okay.
If it didn't change the way it ran at all, then there's your sign, right? So, long story short, you're looking in the wrong spot, and you don't have enough information for us to really help you much. I mean, like, guys are making suggestions. Have you changed the fuel filters? Is it the correct filter? Have you done the check valve? Injector O-rings may be leaking. Maybe your lift pump PSI needs to be checked. You got to do some more homework and stop blaming it on the overhead. Put that out of your mind. Don't think about it again, so you actually spend some quality time trying to figure out what you got going on.
Okay.
Okay, we'll be here next week. Once you have a direction, we'll help you out.
All right.
I would highly recommend.
Right.
I highly recommend doing an injector test on it and stuff like that. And you need to get it hooked up to Insight and see if it tells you anything is wrong. That needs to happen right away.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right, brother. Good luck.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, brother.
You guys want to hear something? I'm sure you can imagine. Even though we do this show, we get solicited around the clock, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments a day, DMs, emails, you name it. And that's one of the reasons we do this show, is because so many people are trying to reach out to me all the time. I want to give people an opportunity to do that. That doesn't take up 100% of my time. And this guy's complaint that I did an overhead and I'm having all these problems is such a common complaint. And I've rarely seen it be the problem. I think once guys go get an overhead, and this is just me speculating, I think once guys go get an overhead, they start to take more notice. It sure seems to be the case, because not everyone in the world can be effing up people's overheads. Anyway, Caterpillar with a 3406E. What can we do for you, brother?
What's up, man? You doing good?
Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
So we've done a in-frame overall kit, cylinders, all the works with a new cylinder head. We just sent the injectors in to get reman, or we got a reman set of injectors. So what happens is if you get on the gas on the truck, the boost pressure will pick up to like 16 psi, and then it won't go any further. The moment you let off and let the pressure come all the way down and you kick on the throttle again, it goes all the way up, and then the truck's got a shitload of power. We changed everything, fuel filters. We've changed out an ECM to see maybe if it's a ECM problem. Yeah, we're at this point, we don't know what to look for anymore. We've changed out turbos, and yeah, we're still stuck with the same old problem.
Because I don't have it turned up. That's why my mic wasn't working. If I,
Oh, your mic was off?
yeah, if I turn it off when the caller's talking, we don't catch the echo, right? Because
Oh, okay.
for the people on TikTok to hear, I have to have a headset just laying underneath my phone because Meta won't let me integrate
Yeah.
ByteDance, whatever.
Oh, shit.
Anyway, long story short, I mean, it sounds like you still have an injector problem to me.
Okay.
Have we done a proper Cat ET injector 4-cylinder injector cutout test?
No.
I wouldn't do anything else to it at all until you get that done.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
you're throwing money around when that should have been the first thing you guys checked, especially getting a reman injectors, which pretty much they all are.
I know we've found some good reman injectors before, and we've also had some shitty ones. So
I wouldn't do anything else until you check. If the injectors all come back good,
okay.
if the injectors all come back good, again, like we just told the last caller, call back next week, and then we have all kinds of directions we can go. I can give you all kinds of ideas, but it's crazy to do that if you don't know for a fact that all 6 injectors are working.
Okay, I will do that.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
And we love your show, and just keep doing what you're doing.
All right, man. Love you long time. Thank you.
Screw all the haters.
Yeah, fuck them. Later.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Gentleman keeps asking, do we ship Peterbilt motors to Canada? Well, there is no such thing as Peterbilt motors. Yeah, I'm just giving you a hard time, brother. But yes, we have 3 dealers in Canada, and we ship to Canada all the time, including engines. Canadians are a huge part of our customer base. Once we get broke into Australian market, which we will soon, they will also be a huge part of our market. Excuse me. Let's see. We have lots of callers, guys. I got to stay on top of these callers, so I can't get too caught up in the comment sections. Pre-built, not Peterbilt, pre-built. That makes more sense. My bad, brother. Yes, you mean like a long block plus or a complete engine? The answer is yes. Brandon, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Well, I'm gonna pick your brain at this, Aaron. I'm in a pretty good pickle. I got a 3406 B model cat 7FB. It's got a real bad. It's in the throttle. It has no power, and when you accelerate it, it's really laggish in the throttle. Okay. So, and it's gotten worse. Before it was only doing it when it got warmed up, and now it's doing it constantly. So we have put new injector pumps in the pump. We've put new injector nozzles, blowed the lines out, new lift pump, took a fuel line, ran it off the lift pump, threw it in a bucket of fresh fuel to cut the supply of fuel from the truck off. And so we could eliminate that. Well, I mean, and of course, everything else is right. I mean, we steadily, maintain everything. And I just put another pump on it. I had a friend of ours had a decent pump that he knew was good. And so we went ahead and did that, and put the pump on it, and it's still doing it. And now it's more constant.
Hang on, brother. You're not even giving me a chance to help you out.
Okay, I'm sorry.
When you say pump, are you talking about the entire injection pump?
Yes, sir.
Because the problem you're talking about is a timing advance problem, and most likely the little governor. So I want you to think about it like, I mean, this is what you're describing to me. I don't know this is your problem, okay? But in the first 20 seconds of you talking, I could have already suggested. It sounds like the little governor that makes the timing advance, makes it advance, and it does that off of boost pressure. It works very, very similar to the way an old naturally aspirated carbureted engine would work. When you hit the gas, you have the little vacuum hose that tells it, how much air is going into it, and it fuels more and so on. So you have a little governor on there that has a hose that goes up to the intake on the intake side. And what you're describing is either that hose is messed up or the governor is messed up. For some reason, it's not advancing the timing.
We replaced all that, and I ordered all the parts from Cat and rebuilt the whole time in advance.
And I'm not talking about the timing advance. I'm talking about the part that tells it what to do.
I guess you could say like there's air or something.
Yep.
I don't know.
That would be a valve not opening. That would be that whisk noise, right? So probably what you guys need to do is drop the pan and get underneath. The damn B models are so freaking hard to see, but you need to try to see if you can look up in there and see if your cam's ate up. And you probably have a camshaft to lifter problem going on.
Okay, so either valve, camshaft, or lifter problem.
Well, it's not a valve problem, right? The sign is coming at you as a valve problem. It's either a push rod, which is the least likely. If it was a push rod, she would have left the chat by now, and she would just be popping. She'd be popping through the air cleaners like nobody's business, right? Whereas if you have if you have a nice straight push rod and all you've done is ate up the cam lobe or the lifter lobe, then that thing will move a little bit, and it will sound like an air compressor is having problems, basically, for lack of a better way to explain it.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a little back history. About a year and a half ago, that motor's there's on the lifter, it come apart. So we replaced a couple lifters, put a new cam in it, but the other lifters are the original that were in it, of course.
So here's what happens with the B models. And this is one, whenever we're going to build a B model like from scratch, because we have lots of B model blocks, I am all over the machine shops about, you got to check every one of those lifter bores and re-sleeve them for me if they're not perfect, because what is so common on those B models is the keeper. The keeper's the weak spot on the lifter on the B model, and that keeper will break and the lifter turns sideways. And when it does, it absolutely trashes it. And guys will go in there and they'll replace all that, and that's all fine. But the problem is it ruins the bore. So the barrel where it rides up and down ends up becoming the new problem. And probably if you have already lost lifters on this thing, it's probably the same holes, or at least one of those same holes is having a problem, because now it has room. And they do make a sleeve for that. You got to drill it out. You got to machine it out and re-sleeve it.
Okay, you could do all that with the motor in the truck, right?
No.
I didn't think so.
Nope, unfortunately.
I did not think so. Okay, all righty. Well, Aaron, once again, I really appreciate you. Always have helped me out.
Yeah,
you do.
Don't assume that's the problem, but look for that.
I'm going to look for it. I'm going to try to get the bore scope to run up to there and see.
Yep.
If not, then we'll just pull the cam out.
I mean, Glenn's got to get up there and run the rack there to run the rack. You're trying to do it, and So, all right, call us next week. Now I want to know.
Yes, sir. I'll call you next week.
All right, brother.
I'll see you.
Have a good night.
All right. You too. Bye.
Yeah, I tell you, a guy keeps asking, when are we coming out with our new injectors? We already came out with our new injectors and we can't keep them in stock. So I'm not allowed to make videos about them until we solve the problem of keeping them in stock. I made one video about them. We sold everything we had in one day, and we have tried to get them back in stock. I mean, we get them, but the company that's supplying them to us, they can't keep up. They can't. I mean, they can't even come close. For every 10 people that call that we sell injectors, one person's getting our Elite Series injectors. That's how hard we can't keep up. And they're telling us they'll be able to keep up if we could get them more cores. So we've actually been searching the world for cores. And I don't know if you've seen some of my recent. I did a shop update yesterday, I think it was, and there was crank boxes full of injector cores. That's what's going on. We're collecting every core that we can get our little dirty little dick skinners on, so we can catch up with that. They have to have the cores, and even though they're not using much of the core, they're after the body. So they're doing a new nozzle, new springs, plungers. It's about the newest injector I've ever put my fucking hands on, but they still need that injector body. So they're kind of dependent on us to catch up. But anyway, we still have them. To answer your question, we still have our brand new Elite Series injectors that were made specially for us. But there's a reason I only made one video on them. We track all that stuff pretty close, and my sons are like, if you don't make any more videos about the injectors, you're gonna kill us. So that's where we're at with it. You thought they were completely new, brother? You don't go out and make completely new injectors like that without getting your ass sued by Caterpillar or whoever else. So I've been in a lot of fuel shops all over the country. I could spill the beans on who's doing the most new stuff, who's making the best injectors, in my opinion, just based on the applications of how they put them together, what they're reusing, what they're not reusing, and the injector body is pretty much the only thing that doesn't fucking matter. So if you're just using the injector being the only, on a cat injector, the injector body is such a small portion of that entire injector. You take, you got the whole injector, so you got the tip there, and then you got your solenoid on top, your spring and solenoid. What's left? Well, that injector body is literally about the size of this whole truck right here. It's just that center section, and all the internals are new. So yeah, when you're just using the injector body, then yeah, you're about as close to a new injector as you're ever going to get. Anyway, sorry I had to collect my brain cells off the floor. Back after it, callers. I'm not ignoring you. Just got to keep the commentary up. You're on the air, brother. What can we do for you? And it looks like they were taking drinks every time I say brother. So, let's limit how many times we say brother.
No. How's it going, Aaron?
Good, man. What can I do for you, brother?
No, I just got a couple questions. It's more, I guess, so on a managerial aspect. Overhauling a tractor right now. I haven't really been into it all that much, but on the 360 series IH. But my question to you is, like, okay, I want to send the head out. I want to send the injectors out. And this guy wants to be as cheap as possible. But before I tore into it, he's like, well, that's whatever needs to be done needs to be done. Like, okay, that's fine. But now I talked to him tonight. It's like, well, I'm not sure if I want to send the injectors out. I'm not sure if I want to send the head out, so on and so forth. I just got the bottom paying off it today. I don't want to say. I mean, I charge $75 an hour. I work full time. I farm, so on and so forth. I work for a farmer. Like,
18, 19-hour day shit. But how would you portray that to somebody else? Like, I'm trying to do the right thing, but I don't want to cost them money either.
Well, okay. Let me answer if you don't mind. Okay.
Nope. Sorry.
Here's the thing. If you know, you probably know me well enough by now to know that I really genuinely try to help people and meet people where they're at and help them out, right? And I always have, right? I didn't become famous in the way that I became famous by just pretending to be that way, right? So the only thing I can really do is just tell you the approach that I take. And the first thing I'll say is you're too cheap. Okay. $75 an hour isn't enough. And the reason is because you have to be able to afford to have integrity. Okay. And I'm not saying, you know, your integrity can be bought, but you need to understand what I'm saying. We all have limits. So at $75 an hour, you're really selling your integrity short. In other words, you know, you do this whole thing for this guy and there's issues and you got to get back in it and this and that and you got to do the right thing. Now the temptation and the pressure for you to not do the right thing, and I'm not saying you wouldn't, but it goes up quite a bit, right? So you have to value yourself. So right out the gate, the first thing I'd say is you're not charging enough, right? The same guy that will pay you $75 an hour will pay you 125 if you do a good job, right? So
Yep.
I've always set my hourly somewhere where I knew that when I was helping people I could afford to have integrity. And so that's number one. Number two, um I became famous on the internet for fixing guys' shit and not forcing them to do everything, right? So you're really asking the right guy, so to speak, right? So um you know, one of my most famous videos ever is a guy had an in-frame done at another shop, and they used a torch to cut his front main seal and rear main seal out because they were. I mean, they had to do his seals, right? And they weren't doing an out of frame, so they, you know, they were hard to get out. They didn't have sway bars. I mean, and that's how you get them out. You get them out with sway bars. They obviously didn't have that kind of experience. They cut him out with a torch and they destroyed his fucking crank. He came to us for an out of frame, and I saved his crank. How did I do it? I sanded everything super smooth by hand, and then I filled it, all those cuts that they made with Belzona, and I sanded it back down again and made it all really nice. And we put it together and put the seals in. And I filmed all that and showed everybody, and everybody, the internet lost their mind, right? But that's been 6 years ago, and that guy never called us back to warranty that ever. You know what I mean? So, but here's the thing. Here's how you approach. This is how you well, here's how I've always approached it. Is the devil's in the details. Okay? And what I mean by that is the details are how you should operate. And I talk to a lot of shop owners call me and ask me for advice. And the first thing I tell them is get a cell phone that is not your cell phone. Get a dedicated cell phone for this job, this business. Write it off, whatever. In every job, all the communication is done via text message. Every single thing. So let's say that you're the customer, right? And we get it and we see, okay, you got this going on and this going on. He really should change it, but he could get away with not. I would text that narrative to him. Here's what I found. Here's the pictures. You decided to go ahead and run it. You know, and then I would expect him to text me back, yes. You get what I'm saying? And I would make him. And we still
it's documented.
Yeah, we still operate that way to this day. Right? You want me to do something that's I'm bringing the harvest, whatever the hell it is, right? As long as two men are making an agreement together and it's all documented, it's not your fucking problem. It's not your problem. So,
that's where I gotta be. So, like you said, $75 an hour. I've done a lot of shit, and I bring my stuff to you. Usually, I just go out to people's places, farms, whatever,
sure,
semis. It don't matter.
You're too cheap.
It's like, like I'm just trying to make an extra buck with a full-time job.
It doesn't matter. You're too cheap.
And you are 100% right. And there's some guys that like, oh, you're too expensive, this and that. And I say, you know what? Fuck you. Take it to Kenworth. Take it to Peterbilt.
But you need to have the same attitude at 125. Because it's not about them. It's about your integrity. You have to make. You have. I mean, think about it, man.
I really appreciate this.
Yeah, let's say this engine blows up on you, brother, and you actually afford to spend a couple of weeks getting this guy back up and running. Well, let's say you can, but you have to.
I can't.
Right. So there you go. All right, man. Anyway, I hope I helped you out. We got quite a few callers. Actually, quite a few people hung up. I've had them hanging too long, so I appreciate you,
I'm
man.
sorry about that, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Good luck, man. Anyway. Yeah, here's what I always tell. So let me give you a great example. And I wish I would have gave this guy the example. Hopefully he's still listening. I'll give you the best example. Callers, I'll get to you in 5 seconds. Give me 5 seconds here. All the time, back when we were doing in-frames, with guys' cranks were messed up, and we knew they could not afford to do an out-of-frame, and the crank wasn't so messed up that we couldn't clean it up. It still has some scratches and stuff, so it's not perfect. We would give them that option, and we'd clean it up for a couple $100. We'd sand, we'd polish it, we'd get it ready to go. And the question guys would always ask me is, how does that affect my warranty? And I would say, well, let's put it into perspective. We sent you a picture of number 5 and number 2 are both kind of scratched up, and you can't afford to change the crank, turn it into this major out of frame. So we are agreeing to go back together based on your financial situation. So if those 2 bearings fail, then we're not going to warranty those 2 bearings. I was like, but if the wrist pin comes apart on number 5, what the fuck does that have to do with your crank? Nothing. So I always keep it specific. If the customer, and guys, I know guys don't do that. Guys are like, oh, you didn't want to fix everything and you can fuck off. There's no warranty. And I never saw it like that. I've never saw it like that. Okay. So you have a bunch of cuts in your front main seal and we patch it up with Belzone and this and that. Should I have to warranty that? No, I shouldn't. I shouldn't have to warranty that. But does that mean that if a rod goes through the fucking side because he didn't do the, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, and it goes both ways. Now my AC doesn't work. Goes both ways. I can't, but yeah, I mean, I can go on all night about guys that, we do something with their engine and they leave and, they're calling me, I got a flat tire and a hung up brake after you touched my engine. Yeah, it goes both ways. So, oh, you're at Chandelar State Camp on the Hall Road. That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. I've been there many times. Chandelar. Yes, sir. All right, back to the callers. Garrett, you're on the air, brother.
Hey, it's Garrett calling. I got a CM870 and a 2005 Peterbilt. Last week we thought a liner dropped. Long story short, they pulled it apart and the O-ring had gone completely brittle. I'm just trying to figure out what happened that O-ring left the chat.
You have to use mineral oil and they use something else. They probably
mineral oil in what? The oil?
On the O-ring. They probably use petroleum oil instead of mineral oil or something stupid like that.
Oh, okay. So I'm from Canada, so it only had like 440,000. on a rebuild, which is, the protrusions and everything was good, but the O-ring had left the chat. So I thought that was kind of fucked up.
Yep, it has to be mineral oil or it will eat it up or make it brittle or you name it. Same thing like with cats. Guys use petroleum oil on cats all the time and just, the O-rings just disintegrate. I can't believe how many people use oil on cat lower O-rings, and it says on every kit you've ever bought, in every manual you've ever seen, and on cat assist and everything else, do not use oil on these O-rings. And I see guys doing it online all the time. You're supposed to use soap, people, soap. And on your Cummins, it's mineral oil, so literally, or vegetable oil. I'm steering you the wrong way. Literally vegetable oil. Right? We buy like fucking canola oil to install all of our Cummins. That's what they tell you to use, vegetable oil, quite literally.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I'll have to ask him about that because he started putting it back together already. But
that's probably all it was, man. I'm not even kidding.
Okay. Yeah. Because it was the rest of the motor seems to be pretty well fine, but just the O-rings left the chat. So
well, maybe they used maple syrup, eh? Sorry.
Yeah, eh?
I
You got it. Hey, thanks, eh?
All right, man.
Have a good night.
Yep, you too. Yeah, tire soap works the best. Guys are talking about soaps. What kind of soap to use on those cats? Murphy's tire soap, like you would mount a tire with. That's the ticket, brothers. That's the ticket right there. The problem with using dish soap, you'll find out is you put the dish soap on there. By the time you go to put them in, like if you're going to get them all set up and going to go put them all in, the soap will dry out. So Murphy's works way better, and Murphy's is like meant for stuff like that. So, and you can get Murphy's in a little bucket, and it has the applicator. Works great. Couple dips, fling it around. If I truly believed you guys were taking a drink every time I said brother, you'd be in trouble because I'd be saying a hell of a lot more, brothers. So, David Miller, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Yes, sir. I've got a 2000 model 2WS Caterpillar, and I want to preface: I'm not a mechanic, but it's just losing oil out of the blow by, and from what everyone says, that if the blow by tube comes out of the side of the block, it's known for leaking oil, but it's gotten progressively bad. Here's 4 or 5 months ago, I had the front structure seal fixed.
Let's just slow her down, okay?
Okay.
Because of so the 2WS was cast on an industrial block, and they didn't change that part of it. And it didn't take them long to figure out that wasn't a great idea. It's the only block that has what you're talking about. Now, Cat makes a plate for that that covers that up, and it works beautifully. You need to get that plate. It's not expensive. It's very inexpensive aluminum plate. Take that box out of the side and find a dumpster that you can cram it into and never look back. And take a 6NZ engine serial number and order a valve cover with a breather tube. And then measure your blow by before you start thinking she's blowed up. Because that design is so horrid and it clogs up and causes so many problems. You'll blow front seal, you'll blow rear seal, you'll chug oil out of it. Get rid of it before you start deciding you have a problem. And it's a pretty easy process. I wish I order them all the time. I wish I knew the part. We wouldn't never let an engine leave here with that thing on it. We just don't. But it's a very common part. You just tell them you want that plate that covers up that hole, and get the O-ring as it's at the same time, and pull that box out, throw that on, give them a 6NZ engine serial number, and say, hey, I want the valve cover with the breather on it, and get me the breather tube, and move on with life.
Right. So that's what I've been recommended. Just started out slow. I owned a truck for a year, and it just sure fixed.
Yeah,
so it's like blowing.
You start fretting and worrying, thinking that you have bigger problems. do that first, because even if you have bigger problems, you're going to want to do that anyway. So
Right.
do that first, and then measure, see if it go. There's such a good chance it'll go away. That's why I'm like pushing you to get it done. Get it done right away too.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's. I've had a couple people tell me, and it's blowing so much oil out and getting worse. That's why I called you to see if you had an opinion on something else, but that confirms it for me.
All right, brother. Well, good luck, man.
Simple enough.
Yep. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. You too.
Now, if you change that and we're still burning a gallon of oil in 800 miles, we got big fucking problems. But let's do that first. All right. Back to the callers. Ricky, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Yes, sir. I've got a 1995 International with a DT 530. It's like the older, has the P-pump style injection on it. But anyway, I just rebuilt it. I'm not a mechanic. I work on my own stuff. I'm good enough, I guess. But I done an in-frame, put a new head on it, everything back together, started it. Runs good, made sure it wasn't leaking. Took it out to heal, to break it in. Everything was running good for about 20 minutes. And then, like, all at once, it just, like, started missing, running real bad, pulled over, towed it back to the house. And I bent
a rod?
A push tube.
Yep.
Bent a push tube. And so I'm curious. I haven't pulled the head off. This just happened earlier today. I wanted to talk to Highway and Heavy before I pulled it off.
Did you change the keepers?
Change the keepers? No, I did not. I inspected them. Everything looked good. There was no, like, they didn't turn excessively or anything like that.
So, I'm the only one in our shop that's done any DT, like 466s and 466Es and that kind of stuff. So I'm a little bit more familiar with them. But I believe the one you're talking about is like incredibly similar to the 466, right?
Yes, everything, the head, the block, crank, everything's the same. The only difference is the liners. I guess they're just thinner to fit a bigger piston.
Right. So you have these fork looking keepers, and your kit should have came with new ones. Even an in-frame kit should have came with new ones. It would surprise the shit out of me if it didn't.
It did not. It was a Interstate McBee kit, but it did not.
PAIs would have came with them. Anyway, neither here nor there. So this begs the question: why did we go in and overhaul it in the first place?
It had a liner O-ring, started leaking water, and the driver called me whenever it started knocking, so it beat a bearing out of the bottom end.
Shit.
But the crank and everything looked good. No bearings had spun. It just, I got into the copper and like it was leaking. So at that point, I just went ahead and ordered a kit, and I put a new head and everything on it because I didn't want to.
Okay. So you haven't taken it apart yet. Here's going to be my guess, unfortunately. I'm going to guess you may have spun that bearing, and now we have come up and we have hit the valve, and that's how we bend a push rod.
Okay, so I guess it would give it a little bit of, like the crank could jump a little bit.
No, I think she's left the chat. You need to drop the oil pan. First thing you need to do is check that same rod and see if that rod spun. If it did, that's what happened. It doesn't take much, man. If it spins, it gets play. If it gets play, when it comes up on the stroke, it taps the valve and immediately bends the push rod.
Okay, that makes sense. It was a main bearing that had, not a rod bearing, but I see what you're saying there.
Oh, it's a main bearing. Okay, but I mean,
yeah, it was all the rod bearings. Like some of them had a little more wear than others, but for the most part, all the rod bearings looked good. I had one main bearing that was eating up pretty good, and another one that was kind of showing some wear.
It still sounds like that's what happened. I hate to say it, man. It sounds like that's what happened to me. I'm just saying. But if not, and I hope that's not what happened. But let's say if not, then you put something together wrong. Something didn't go together right, and it's most likely related to those keepers. Something happened with those keepers and allowed that thing to fall away. I hope that's your problem.
Okay, that makes sense. Right, yeah, that would be the simplest option, I suppose.
Yeah. Gonna be one of those two.
I got you. That's where I'll start. I dropped the pan. I didn't want to tear into it, and just in case it was a defect in the head.
Nah. No.
I pulled the valve cover off of it, and the valve stuck. But obviously, if it kissed it, then it probably would be.
As much as I would like to throw the people that you bought that stuff from under the bus and run them over 7 or 8 times, it's incredibly unlikely that that head had a part failure. It's like
I got you.
1 in 1,000 odds of it being something else like we're talking about. You know what I mean?
Right, that makes sense.
So,
cool deal. I guess we'll drop the pan in the morning.
all right, brother. Let us know.
Thank you for the help.
Yep. Bye. Unfortunately, I think that guy's might be fucked. Hopefully not. Those that push rod system is pretty easy to fuck up though, so hopefully that's all it is. Talk more shit about Dave's Auto Center. I used to like him until you pointed out him shitting on his employee. You know, that video that got reposted, because sometimes we'll go repost videos. That video is a year old. Everybody thinks that when they saw that recent video about Dave, that's talking about the recent mess up he had where they put the bearings on that didn't have the oil hole drilled in them. That is not what that video that you guys were seeing that recently got put on Facebook. That is a year old YouTube video when he had an engine mess up. I can't remember exactly what happened, but man, he just came right on the internet and just threw that employee under the bus. And God, it was just, I couldn't believe it. I'd never seen anything like it. Like, he didn't take any ownership for it at all. And he's talking to the customer. Like, they filmed him talking to the customer, telling him, yeah, my employee doesn't know what he's doing. It's like, God damn, dude. Come on. Marshall, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you? Marshall.
Hello?
Yeah, it's you, man.
Hello? Hey, so I have a 3126 E model and a 2002 Chevy tow truck, and it's got a problem with the Huey system, I'm assuming. I'm told the motor only has 1,500 miles on it since it was reman, and it will not start without a sniff of ether. Doesn't matter if you start it and let it run for an hour or 20 minutes, or if it's a cold start in the morning, it will not restart once you shut it off without that sniff of ether.
Yeah, and I'm scanning the comment. I'm scanning the comment section here because I don't play in that wheelhouse at all. I do understand the Huey system and how it works. And yeah, I'm not a stranger to light duty engines like that. I'm much more familiar with medium duty and almost consider myself an expert in heavy duty, but some guys are saying, man, that's really loud in the background, brother, but
my kid.
Some guys are saying the low pressure sending unit. Another gentleman that is saying H-pop. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe you do.
The Huey pump.
Yeah, everybody's.
They just put. There's a new one of those on it. That was just replaced. I'm like the sixth mechanic to touch it, and it's having stored codes for the valve system, or for the IAP system, but it's not throwing any act codes for it. And I've checked the pressure fuel to it, and that's up to Caterpillar specifications. And Only thing I haven't done is I haven't tested the I guess Caterpillar has a diagnostics tool that I guess replaces the IAP control valve.
Yeah.
And it allows the system to build full pressure, and I guess it's supposed to isolate it. But
well, I mean, I'd be honest with you. If you gotten, are you watching us on Facebook or YouTube or?
I had you guys on YouTube. I was going to go back to it once I got off the phone with you.
Let me give you a word of advice. Get in the comment section and start stating your problem and let these guys help you. There is obviously a lot of guys that are familiar with that stuff, right?
Yeah.
All right, brother, do that, and I'll be watching you.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Bye. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I've never messed with one of those at all. Tell him to install a fast system. I mean, it might cure his problem. Can I be an installer for your motors only? Absolutely, man. Give us a call. There's several people around the United States that do nothing but drop our engines in trucks. People are building their business models around it. I got no problem with it. Huey is what I say when I'm working on them. I thought that was pretty damn funny, personally. All right, we got one more caller. Several people didn't hang on. This is one of the first times ever. We have like 6 people that decided not to hang on until I got to them. It's never happened before. People are busy tonight. Chris Kelly, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Yes, sir. We've got a small fleet of trucks, all pre-emission stuff. Detroit 60s mainly, a few cats. But we're looking at expanding our fleet, and I'd like to get your opinion on what you think the best combination is, both in kind of the newer motor stuff, and is there any quality difference in the trucks?
No, there's certainly quality difference in the trucks, but here's a better way to answer that question, right? The better way to answer that question is the value of the truck. And let me kind of give you a great example. I only buy Toyotas. I only let my wife buy Toyotas. And every Toyota that I've ever owned, after I put 150, 160,000 miles on it, I damn near sold it for what I bought it for every single time. Well, that's the case if you go out and buy a Peterbilt. That's the case if you go out and buy a Kenworth, even used ones, right? That's not the case if you go out and buy an International or if you go out and buy a Freightliner and so on and so forth. So yeah, is there quality differences? Well, there certainly is value differences, right? So that's a better way to answer that. And as far as what engine should you look for, are you talking like in a brand new truck or are you talking like just in general?
No, I'm talking 16 to 23.
Oh, for me, it would be Cummins. No question. It would be Cummins.
No question. What should we expect to get out of those mileage-wise?
Let me explain why, though, okay? Because here's the facts. The odds of you getting 1 million miles out of a PACCAR are incredibly good. The odds of you getting 1 million miles out of a DD15 are incredibly good. The odds of you getting 1 million miles out of that Cummins is not as good. But when all of those things break down, you are going to thank God you have a Cummins. That's why I would own Cummins.
Just due to price to rebuild, price to fix?
Yep. You're pretty much fucked when your DD15 or your PACCAR goes down. You know, you're going to spend more. So by the time those DD15s and PACCARs go down, this is what so many people run into. You know, they'll get out to that 1 million miles. The truck's not nearly worth what it used to be. Then then it comes time to overhaul it, and it costs more than the fucking truck is worth 99% of the time. The overhaul of the DD15 or the PACCAR costs more than the truck is worth. That Cummins, I'd rather own a Cummins that I overhauled every 400,000 miles than own a PACCAR that I know I'm going to get 1 million miles out of. That's fact.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Have a good night. You know, and we can argue semantics on that all night long, guys. But I'm just giving them my personal opinion. You know, like $10,000 for a Packard turbo. I mean, point and case. Oh, yeah, and Glenn Long has a really good point. This is key. Information availability is a key factor behind the Cummins. Like, top tier comment right there. Go try and get some information on your fucking Packard. It's all proprietary. I have Davy 4 here. I pay out the ass for it, and I mean it's shit. It's shit. And all that Cummins information is available at your fingertips. Talk about a company that is all about right to repair. Talk about a company that's about right to repair. Those guys tell you how to do everything right at your fingertips. Doesn't even cost you anything. You want to overhaul your Cummins all by your damn self. You've never done it before. They give you the information to do everything. That's the comment of the night. I mean, you ain't gonna get that with a DD15. You're not gonna get that with a Packard. Cummins supports you fixing your own shit like nobody else. More than Cat, more than anybody. It's all at your fingertips. You're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, Aaron, it's Boyd. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. What's going on?
Hey, so I called in the other day, and I was supposed to get a call back, but yeah, it must have been busy. But anyway, hey, so I don't know if you remember me. I have a 2001 Freightliner Classic XL with the N14. I'm sorry, with the 6NZ. I was coming west on 70, that big mountain pass out of Denver. I run super light. The first time ever my truck has ever even ran warm. Obviously, it was super hot outside.
Not really.
But my buzzer came on, so I pulled over. Right. I pulled over, let it cool down, but my buzzer will not shut off for nothing. I let it sit overnight, super cool the next day. Went to fire it up, the buzzer would not shut off. So I found the wire, obviously, and cut it. I know it's stupid, but I had to deliver my load. So truck hasn't been running hot since. Why would that buzzer continue to do that? Would it be within the computer panel behind the dash, or
no? It's at the sensor most. I mean, it could be anywhere, right? We're talking wiring problems here. you want to get me to lose interest and not help you out? Let's talk about wiring gremlins. But
right,
it was most likely at the sensor. The sensor failed.
Okay, so it's not the actual temp sensor, right? Because the temp sensor still, my gauge is working fine.
No, is
the low coolant is working.
This is a Freightliner?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's so Freightliner is pretty much the only truck, with cats in them that had a low coolant sensor that would go off, and it will even shut the truck off, right? And that would set your buzzer off. What you're describing sounds way more like the coolant sensor than a temperature sensor. How do you know it's not your low coolant sensor that's causing the problem?
It could be, but it's been replaced from Caterpillar themselves. I'm not saying it can't go bad. I'm just saying it's been less than 5 months since it's been replaced.
That's a Freightliner item. That's a Freightliner item there, not a Cat item.
Oh, so the one that's on the reservoir on the radiator, that's a okay. I didn't know that. So I'll just replace the sensor then and hook the wire back up and see if it fixes it.
Probably will.
I got one more. I kind of had a feeling, but it shows the temp sensor, not the low coolant, but whatever.
Now, on your dash, it's the same bulb. Bullish.
Well, one more question. So I call in and finding out how much longer I got to wait for the exhaust manifold. I had ordered the turbo and the exhaust manifold, and then when I called in to finish paying for it, have it sent up, they ended up talking me into getting the upgraded one, which is a couple more $100, no big deal. But it's been about a month, and I haven't heard anything on when it's going to be shipped. Do you have any idea how long those are out still?
I mean, I have prototypes here, but we recently used them up on builds we're doing. I don't know because my one of my sons handles all that acquisition, right? I remember when I first made the video saying, showing everybody that we had the prototypes, that I set a time frame at that time. That was what my son told me, but I don't remember how long that time frame was, because we're just doing so much stuff here. You'd have to give us a call. I mean, we have a customer support
I tried
team.
that.
And what happened?
I never got a call back. It was 3 days ago.
Oh, yeah, we have big problems. We have big problems. And I wrote your number down right here, right? And
Okay.
I intend to tell someone to get back to you. But here's what people don't understand.
Not a problem.
So I'm not making excuses. I just want people to understand. I was at the call center 2 days ago. I went down there and had a meeting with everybody. We have 6 people that do nothing but answer the phone. They're our sales team. Great, awesomest people ever. And then on top of that, there's 2 women that just are receptionists. In other words, they're answering the phone when all 6 of those people are on the phone. And while I was there, we had a quick meeting, and I talked to everybody for about 20 minutes, and we missed 150 phone calls.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, brother.
So
I'll tell you straight up,
we're trying like crazy.
I don't doubt you one bit, and I'm not in dire need of it, because the truck I'm driving it today, it still runs fine. I mean, yeah, granted, I'm trying to improve it every day, but I got a turbo sitting ready to get put on, and I don't want to put it on and then get the exhaust manifold and have to tear everything back apart and put, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I was just kind of curious as to, how much longer I need to wait and just kind of get an idea.
I mean, I'm going to have somebody call you and let you know. We don't want to not get back to people. We're not ignoring people for sure.
No, I'm sure.
And I have a good friend that used to be a salesman for me. He's flying in like 3 days. We got another guy that just started. We need probably 6 more people than we have. And we're trying. It's so hard because you can't just get anybody to do that, because we got to have people like you call in. What we don't want is salesmen that are just trying to make money, right? We can find lots of those, but we try and train these people. We try to make sure they're familiar with our industry, and people will call in and they want to order $20,000 worth of shit, and they just need an injector. And we want people intelligent enough to be like, tell me what's going on, and then like, man, you don't need all that shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah,
it's hard to find good people, just because our standards make it hard. But anyhow, man, I did take your number down. I'll make sure that we give you a call back. All right.
Okay, great. And I'll ask the next question when they call back, because it's not super important, but we'll go from there.
All right, sir. Have a good night, and thank you.
I appreciate it, buddy. Have
Bye.
a great night.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I haven't asked. We're all just about drunk. Oh, who would I recommend you get an in-frame kit from? Come on, man. Actually, there is a good way to answer that question. I would genuinely recommend our hacknation kit. I put a lot of R&D, time, effort, and we're very serious about that kit being the best kit on the market, because it is. I don't doubt it one bit. But if that's not your bag, we're still the best place to go to, in my opinion, to get a stock kit. We carry You don't have to buy a Hacknation kit from us. In fact, we probably only sell one Hacknation kit for every 5 that we sell. Not everybody wants to upgrade. So, what is the best in-frame kit for a 60 series 1270? Do you guys even know who I am? For fuck's sakes. Let's get back to the callers. Addie Cole, you're on the air. What can we do for you?
Hey, doing? I got an X15 with a 389 piece. I'm having issues on DEF, I guess, regenning. And I just hear too many rumors about guys with X15 saying it's injectors or some other, easy fix. Nothing's deleted. It's all stock.
Regen,
running normal temp.
If you're regenning a lot, it's usually after treatment problem. In fact, it's always after treatment problem.
I have one of those. Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
After treatment doesn't really throw in a code anywhere. It's just that not really sure what it would be.
It's burning dirty. EGRs needs to be cleaned, something, right? I can't remember all the names for all the after treatment stuff. I'm kind of searching the comments section. These guys usually pop off whenever there's a after treatment thing here, but could it be an injector? Sure. It's highly unlikely you'd have a runnability issue. You're just having a regen issue. That's almost always an after treatment problem. The DPF filter could be plugged up, but that the DPF filter plugging up and causing it to regen all the time, it is a symptom, not the cause.
Right.
Right.
Like I did a cleaning maybe 6 months ago, and now it's still doing the regen. I don't even know. It's like a spark regen twice a day. Not a good thing.
The SCR and all these other things. Look, here's the thing. Cummins engines are pretty fucking smart. Okay. I've built Cummins engines. I've built every Cummins engines on the planet, but I'm not the guy. I don't install, I've never installed one. My company has installed hundreds of them, but I don't know anything about the after treatment stuff. But I know that when guys come in and are having problems, my nephew, who is our Cummins wizard, every time goes and gets the computer, hooks up to the truck, goes to Insight or whatever, and he finds out what's going on because there's so many sensors on that engine. You're always going to be able to find out what's the problem. There's going to be something's not working right, and because it has sensors everywhere, you should be able to figure out what's going on. Somewhere in there, it's going to say this is not right and this is not right, and then it's also going to tell you how to fix it.
Yep. Okay.
I guess
I'll get it over to
I could almost guarantee
laptop guy.
I can almost guarantee there's a code on it of some kind. Do you have any codes popping up?
Yeah, I have it's like a ghost low voltage wire interrupt on it. But it's not saying exactly what it is.
Go get hooked up. I bet you anything you'll figure out what's going on.
Yep. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Good luck. Sorry I can't help you more. I really should have better guys on here that can deal with the after treatment stuff. I'm just not that guy. So
no, I hear you. Thank you.
All right, brother. And Glenn Long, he's in the comment section. Maybe get in there on Facebook comment section. He's really good with that kind of stuff. Him and K2 Lucas at K2D both really good. As long as in the comment, get on and ask him for his number, man. He'll help you out.
Okay.
right.
Yeah, if I have one of those scanners given a code, maybe it could give me some insight where it's coming from.
Yeah. Oh, he's got all that stuff. That's what I'm saying. There's resources in our comment section, man. All these guys are here to help. He might even be in your area.
I didn't know that.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right, brother. Have a good night. What do you mean you didn't know that? He didn't know we're all family here, except for maybe Raging Cajun. He's like the redheaded stepchild that we don't claim. All right, back to the callers. Man, I am tired. I'm ready to go home. Moses, you're on the air, brother.
Hey, Aaron. How's it going, brother?
Good, good. What can I do for you?
I'm just wondering, are you guys still doing, like, do you guys have still a couple spots for in-frames and stuff, or are you guys not doing them at all anymore?
Oh, we're not personally doing them, man, but if you give us a call, we have a giant list of shops around the United States that we are pumping trucks to at all times, and we're trying to only deal with shops that are the same as if you brought it here, as far as they're not going to screw you over. And we figure out really quick which shops are terrible to work with, and we just, we don't throw them under the bus, but we just stop referring people to them, but so I mean, we're a good resource for that. We, just because we're not going to in-frame it doesn't mean we don't help you. Give us a call tomorrow and we'll help get you pointed in the right direction.
All right, awesome. I'm out of Southern California. You guys got people out here?
Brother man, I have no clue, because we're so much bigger than people think. There's so much going on here. I couldn't possibly know that. There's like
I know it.
There's like 40 some odd people that work here, and we're not even close to able to keep up.
Wow, man. Stay blessed. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I was up there. I came up to San Antonio about a year ago. I met with Chris, your brother-in-law, and both of you. You ended up, awesome guy, man. Freaking awesome dude. You guys helped me out with an issue I had. There was a quick fix that I was dealing with for about a year. But, man, I just wanted to tell you guys I really appreciate you guys, man. I'm just trying to get on the road, man. I got screwed over by this mechanic, man. He just ruined everything on my truck, man. The engine, and then he did a clutch without me asking, and I had a leak, ruined my transmission, and so I'm just, I have no idea what to do. I'm ready to park it,
Well,
I own one truck.
Before you do that, give us a call. All right?
I will, Aaron.
All right.
Thank you so much, man. All right, brother. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye. I had a brain fart there for a minute. There's always some dumbass in the comments that I have to kick out of here. Do we offer a 7.3 Power Stroke engine? Man, we support all of the light duty diesel engines. You'd be surprised. We do hack kits into 7.3s and 5.9s and stuff like that. So we support it all. Do we offer long blocks and stuff? No way. That's too far outside our wheelhouse. I got a little bit of exciting news. We had the Rottler representatives come here today. We asked them to come here, and sounds like we're going to make a deal with them in the next couple of days, and we're getting a Rottler. We're going to bring all the machining in-house. We're very excited about that. We spent $600,000 last year on machine shops, and we're on track to, in 2027, if we meet our projections, we'll spend almost $2.5 million on machine shops. So we're going to bring it in-house. Pretty excited about it. Anyway, ISX Cummins, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Yo.
Yep, that's you.
Are you talking to me, Aaron? I can't tell. I got multiple voices here.
Yeah, well, those are all in your head. I'm here.
It's the gremlins coming out of the truck. Hey, okay, I'll get to the point here. 2015 ISX 15 deleted, 565 horsepower. Just had a total in-frame. Basically, just used the block. I got a new head, new rockers, new everything. Just put in 6 injectors last weekend. New fuel pump put in about 3 months ago, right from Cummins. I got a miss in this thing, and with this miss, I don't notice it that much when I'm empty. But as soon as I put a load against it, it seems like it's starving itself for fuel. But you watch that coolant temperature, it starts to walk up right now. I need to know where to look. I'm to the point here on the weekend. I'm going to have the guys pull the head off the fuel pump. It only takes less than an hour to pop it off, just to inspect those plungers and barrels, make sure they're not scored.
VGT turbo or S400?
No, VGT turbo. Replace that. That's brand new. It's a fleece turbo.
Yeah, I think it's probably not working. So you got one of two things going on there. That VGT turbo is already having a problem. The actuator's sticking, or the turbo itself.
Had that all checked out. They pulled it off the truck, checked it. Everything's running clean. My boost on acceleration and even on Jake goes right to where it's supposed to go.
Right. So we move on to the, I want to start with the mechanical problem. It really sounds like you got some kind of shit tune on there.
I've had the same tune on here for 7 years now. I've never changed it.
Okay. And you never had any runnability problems?
Nope. I had to replace the fuel pump head because it was 2 hairline cracks on just above the one barrel there. Put a new head on there, drove it for about 20 minutes down the road, and then the dash slid up full of codes, limped it back into the city, and the mechanic that put the head back on didn't line up the little pins on the one barrel, and it was literally jammed right into the pump body. So they gave me a brand new pump. But like you can feel it jerking just like a miss, but not a full 100% injector miss.
And we're getting hot.
But
You're describing a VG problem still. Unless, and I was just getting ready. Somebody just commented what I was just getting ready to come out of my mouth. Unless this cylinder head, so you're kind of describing two problems. You're saying the coolant's getting hot.
Yeah.
And do you have any way to look at your EG?
Like it goes up to 250. It goes up to 215 degrees, but the fan brings it back down. And when I'm running empty down the road, my coolant temperature runs about 175, 180.
Well, 215 is not hot, so sounds like
no. Like it has no problem bringing the temperature down. It's just and the other thing too, even when I'm empty, if I slam my foot to the floor, you can feel the truck. It picks up like it's got lots of get up and go, and then it just smooths right out.
Again, that sounds
like it doesn't continue to build like it used to. But the boost doesn't change.
Brother, you're describing a turbo problem.
Okay. So why would my boost not be affected if it's a turbo problem?
Because it's not changing it's not changing the variable. You're stuck. You're stuck like on a closed nozzle, so to speak, right?
Okay. Like he took the turbo and split the turbo, And even the linkage, when you pull the actuator off there, it moves back and forth really easy. It just flick it with your finger.
But did you guys
don't know the?
Did you guys do the computer test where the computer's doing that, not some guy flicking it back and forth like his girlfriend's bean?
No, we did it. We did it with the computer. I ran a test on it. Actuator passed.
Okay. So we know our actuator's good, and that doesn't mean that the turbo's not hanging up.
Okay. So when that lever underneath your actuator, when that moves, it pushes everything back. Like that moves nice and free. They thought maybe it was hanging up in the I can't name the name of that ring in the back section there. Thought it was hanging up there, but even with it, like before you even split it apart, it was moving nice and free. There's no resistance to it.
I understand. I understand what you're saying, but what you're describing is a turbo problem, right? And like, so I had a PACCAR we had a 2-ton in North Dakota, and that thing would work great until it got hot and all the metal started expanding, and that VG would hang up all the time. It drove me fucking nuts. And if you would, when you first started up, you could drive it around for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then it would just do it all the time, right? And if I would have brought that thing back to the shop, I could have tested it all I wanted, and it would have passed and passed and passed. What you're describing is a turbo problem. And, you guys have taken this thing apart and this and that. Has it been recalibrated once it got put back on? Does your mechanic know how to do that?
That's all these guys do. They build nothing but turbos. I'm up in Alberta, Canada here. So I don't know if you've heard of an outfit called Alamo. They've been around for like 50 years.
Well, that doesn't mean that you don't have the problem we're saying. So like this Tyler guy says here, I have one at my shop doing the exact same thing. The turbo and actuator pass with everything cold. Once it gets hot, the actuator fails and the section gear on the turbo gets harder to sweep. I mean, I don't really know where to go with you because I'm stuck on turbo because
any time that we
there's no
anytime that we've tested this actuator, the engine's been hot.
Well,
I'm driving in off the road complaining about a problem, and they're testing it, and it's like everything's hot.
Okay, so
because previously when that mechanic screwed up and didn't line up that pin in the barrel on the fuel pump, I was getting almost the same results that I am now, except I'm not getting any codes.
Right. So you have to go through the troubleshooting tree, man. You gotta start going through a troubleshooting tree, but I highly recommend you start somehow make sure it's not the turbo, because that's what you're describing. Now, I'm not saying it couldn't be something else, but I can't really point you in a different direction because we're going to end up back on your turbo.
Okay. So when when I had the actuator test, they ran the test on the laptop. It passed. I can have them do it when I take the truck in and it sits overnight and it's going to be cold. It should move just as easy.
I understand. I'm not disputing what you're saying. You have to understand. I'm not saying, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and your guy's an idiot, and this and that. I'm just saying what you're describing can only be, as far as the knowledge you have given us so far, right? The symptoms and signs. There would have to be more information on the table here for me to look at, for me to say, well, let's go look at this instead. Based on the information you've given me right this minute, I'm stuck at the turbo. I can't move past it.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I'm not saying you shouldn't check.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not saying you shouldn't jump up there and throw timing wedges in it and make sure we're in time. I'm not saying you shouldn't pop the head off that fuel pump. I'm not saying you shouldn't do all these things. All I'm saying is the tools you have given me have me stuck on the turbo.
Okay.
I think you need to do what Williams here is saying, and you need to throw a different turbo on it and see if the problem goes away. I'm not saying go buy another turbo, but see if you can get your,
Yeah, that was why I put this one on, because my other turbo was starting to lag pretty good. So I took it off. This was brand new and calibrated and stuck it on, and it worked good for a while. And now all of a sudden I've got this issue.
So take it from a guy who his number one selling item is turbos. Okay, we sell a lot of shit, and turbos are our number one seller. VGT turbos are one of the most common things put on brand new. They have a problem out the gate, and it's because guys don't clean this, clean up everything, and they throw that on, and they're super sensitive. So just because it's new doesn't really mean shit to me. You know what I mean? And if it was, you were like, this is your turbo, Aaron, I'd be like, what the fuck does that have to do with it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a turbo issue. Most likely, it's a diligence before it was installed issue. Most likely, and I don't know. And you got to understand the smallest piece of carbon. It's the only reason I don't. The VGT turbos are badass. They really are. The problem with them is it just takes the slightest. It don't take much. If one of those fins is even bent just a smidgy, you got problems.
Yeah.
So give us a call next week and tell us what you find out, brother. Now I'm curious.
All right, I'll get the guys to take this off, run it over these guys and put it through their ropes, make sure everything is clean and nothing's warped or dragging or anything. But I'll give you a call next week then.
Good luck, brother. Talk to you then.
All right, thanks, Aaron.
Yep, bye.
You bet. Bye for
now. He needs a 12B71. That 12B71 gets horrible fuel mileage if it's in a boat. I've had a dream of having a certain type of boat for a long time. By the way, I finally got the boat I've been wanting forever. It's in Maryland. I got to go get it. Probably the third week of August here, maybe the first week of September. And I looked at a lot of boats before I settled on this one. This one has 3208 cats in it, which I'm very happy about. But I was looking at a few trucks that had the 12V71s or the 8V71s or whatever. But man, you look at the economy on the 12V71, it'll get a boat up fucking moving, buddy. It'll get a boat moving, but man, you have a 4,000 gallon tank and you got a 1,000-mile range. Whew. I decided not to go with a boat that had a two-stroke Detroit in it. They are not kind. They're not kind on the pocketbook at the fuel station. Ronnie, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good. Hopefully we can help you out.
Yeah, man, I was just calling. I got a Cummins ISX out of a 2005 378, and I was just kind of calling. I got a lot of blow by right now, right? And I have a feeling that we're just going to have to tear it apart. But I keep getting advice from everybody about like artificial blow by, like coming from the air compressor or even turbo. But I've replaced both. It's still there, but the truck just runs like I just got it back from upstate New York, and it still runs flawlessly. But I'm still spitting oil out of the slobber hose and still got pretty bad blow by. But it's just not acting like it's getting weak or nothing. And I didn't know if I should just bite the bullet and tear it apart.
So usually when you have blow by that doesn't transfer over to, man, this thing seems like it lost 50 horsepower. You're dealing with a broken ring rather than wore out liners. Okay. But you can usually tell if you have a broken ring. And here's how you tell: when she's warmed up, I mean, she's nice and hot, 180 degrees, and you're sitting there at an idle. Does it put out quite like shit tons of blow by smoke?
Oh yeah, coming out of the blow by line, definitely.
Yeah.
I have very little coming out of the stacks.
Oh yeah, but the stacks aren't a factor. You don't get blow by out the stacks.
Okay.
You have a
Yeah. I just heard a lot of people saying it's gonna start smoking a lot if it's the worst it gets.
Well, a lot of people don't know what the fuck they're talking about as well. But just basically right this minute of a broken ring. It's one hole and it's a new hole. And most likely, if you need to, you can just do that one hole and move on with life.
That's what I was worried about. Like I'm kind of old school when it comes to mechanicing, so I do everything in pairs. You know, if I get in it, do the whole thing. But I've had the worst luck in trucking, man. I've lost 2 trucks in 4 months. And one of them, I don't want to say names on air. I wish I could, but I bought a truck from a reputable dealership and blew up in 8 days. And so kind of on the last dollar here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And that was kind of.
But what you're looking at is doing one hole, in other words, a cylinder pack, and a head gasket kit. So you're going to be
$1,200,
$700, you know. And you can most likely use that piston crown. So what you really need is a liner and a set of rings and a head gasket kit.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely because, I mean, I was at a point to selling the truck too, you know, and I was thinking, man, it's such a pretty truck. Like this thing is flawless when it comes to looks. But like,
here's the problem.
Even if I have to get out from underneath it.
Here's the problem you'll run into on this repair. This is for all intents and purposes, very affordable repair. Okay. The problem you'll run into is that repair takes the same man hours of changing a cylinder head plus, right? So if you're not going to do this job yourself, this could be a spendy job, right? If you're going to do this job yourself, you'd probably be, you'd be into it very minimal.
I'm not one scared of jumping in on projects either. I'm kind of sink or swim kind of guy, and the only way to swim is to try. So I'm not scared to do it myself, but at the same time, do you have a good reference where like I could get like torque spec?
Yeah. So here's what I was going to tell you. Okay. Call in tomorrow, have them get you a quote for a jug and a head gasket kit, and then tell them Aaron said that you got, if I got this, you would throw in your packet. And and we'll throw in a packet, and that packet has all your torque specs, has everything you need, has your aviation pace, the whole 9 yards. And we tell you how to do everything.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, that's what I need right there, man. Because I know if I took it anywhere, man, like I'm already in the hole. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
no, this is
I'm definitely going to be working on it.
If you have a way to raise the head, then you'll be fine. Then you'll be fine. Let me give you one word.
Yeah, I got a bunch of friends.
Okay, let me give you the best word of advice I'll give you all night. If you do this job yourself, make sure everything's clean. Make sure you do everything you're supposed to do as far as checking everything, okay? And then when you go back together, take 2 head bolts, cut the heads off of them, and use them as guide studs. And your success rate will go up 90%.
Okay. Heck yeah. Hey, man, I appreciate the advice, and I appreciate watching y'all all the time, man. I really admire you guys.
Yep, just tell the call center that I said that, or that if you do decide to go with us, that I said we would throw in our Caterpillar information packet. Okay, and we'll make sure you get it. All right, brother.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yep. Have a good night.
Bye.
And that information packet comes with all of your tooling as well. And mechanics will know what I mean when I say tooling. I don't mean like a wrench. I mean like all the tooling items, like your aviation paste or whatever it might be, your graphite, petroleum graphites, and whatever else. Anyway, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I've got a question on my 44 Big Cam. How can I communicate like these guys are with you? Oh, well, you just say stuff, dude. This is a call-in show, though. So I have to stay on top of the callers. There's 3 people on hold right now. We could probably, we have 22 minutes left. If you wanted to call, the number to call in is 573-422-4225. And obviously it's up on the screen. So there's 3 people on hold. Let's get to them. Randy, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Aaron, my question is, and I want to say thank you for
y'all rushing my motor, my long block plus to me in such a rush. I appreciate how y'all did that. Now, my question I have is, I will not be hooking up to a heavy trailer, and I will not be in hills, and I need to know how you would break that motor in.
Okay. So it's not how I would break that motor in. It's understanding what you're doing when you're breaking a motor in. And once you understand what you're trying to achieve, then you can build a plan around achieving it. And so it's better if I just tell you what you're trying to achieve. You're trying to get the engine hot.
Okay.
You're trying to get the engine hot under load. And you don't confuse load with weight behind the truck. Load is boost pressure pushing down on the crown, pushing the rings out from the lands into the liner wall. And that has to happen when the engine is hot enough that the metal becomes soft enough that the rings can fold the peaks over into the valleys and give you the oil cushion that you need for this thing to forever ride and not have blow by. That's what you're trying to achieve. So how do you do that? Well, you have to get hot under load. I could do that to your truck bobtail on a flat stretch. You're not going to like it, but I can do it. We're going to beat about 10% of the life of the brakes off the goddamn truck, but we can do it. You get what I'm saying? So
I'll take the 10% loss as long as I seat this rings correctly to where we don't come back with cross hatching or there'll be a problem. That's what I'm trying to do. Do you suggest putting something over the radiator to keep it to where, it's going to stay warmer?
In the middle of summer, sure, but I'd only cover like a little less than half of it. That's fine. Your cooling package should still cool it down. I mean, that's kind of a loaded question, but I would do it. You know what I mean? But here's what I would do if I was in your situation. I would certainly try to get a trailer on it. Okay, even an empty trailer is better than no trailer. I would find, nowhere in the world is it truly flat unless you're in fucking Nevada or something, right? So you just find a rolling hill. A little tiny rolling hill is fine. And, get her up into like 7th direct and use the brake and make that fucker work. It's that simple. And here's kind of your metric. If that engine fan comes on for you 6 or 7 times or 8 times, the more times the better, right? But in your case, you want to have some brakes left to go to work with, but let's say you get that engine fan to come on 7 or 8 times, because you were forcing it to work, buddy, go trucking. You're done. You did it.
All right, just trying to get a little advice so I don't screw up what I just sent you for money to get this motor, which I greatly appreciate. Again, how quickly y'all did the turnaround and get it back to me. I do appreciate that, and just trying to get a little bit of advice not to screw this shit up.
Yeah, I mean, 10, 15 pounds of brakes should be more than enough, and that's not going to get them so hot. You're going to lose a bunch of brake. I wouldn't worry about it one bit. And brake pads are like, what, $27 to $36? They're cheap compared to that engine. Anyhow.
Yeah, I can handle the cost of the brakes. Like I said, the motor is the most important thing to me.
Yeah, you aren't going to
burn. It took me forever to get the financing for it.
You're not going to meaningfully burn up your brakes anyway. I wouldn't worry about it.
Right.
But all right, brother. Good luck, man.
All right, man.
Yep.
Thanks.
Bye. All right. Callers are stacking up now that we're getting to the end of the show. So caller number 33, guys, we're going to cut it off at caller number 33 because there's quite a few people on hold. Let's go ahead and get to them. We're running out of time. We got 15 minutes left to go through quite a few people here. So, vlog. The theme is vlog.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Yes, sir. What can we do for you?
Hello, Aaron. I'm calling you from Saskatchewan, Canada. We do oil field hauling just like you did before. And I have old trucks around the I bought one 6-inch just in Edmonton. They did things right, but the thing that I bought the AI kit, which was fairly cheap for some reason, and it's a Select, not a Select Plus model. And I broke it in after rebuild. I did everything right, because I watch a lot of content related to a diesel engine. And the thing is, just having a little bit of a blow by since the new, since I rebuilt it, it has a little bit of a blow by.
How many miles are on it?
Right now it's 120,000.
Oh, okay. Now, the reason I asked, and we'll just say this for education purposes for everybody, whenever we send an engine out of here, we broke it in the whole 9 yards, everything's good to go. I tell our customers, expect to burn a gallon of oil or so in the first 10,000. And they'll use oil and they'll have some blow by in the first 10,000. It's nothing to be concerned about. But if you're already at that many miles, how much oil are you using? How first of all, how long is your oil change interval? 12,000, 10,000? What do you do?
Yeah, about 10, 12,000 miles.
Okay, so
I do oil changes.
In between that oil change, how much oil are you having to put in it?
It's probably gallon and sometimes 2 gallons. Yeah, gallon or 2. Like it's same threshold like you describe in your reels.
Yep. Brother, oil samples are so cheap. If you can't figure out where to get an oil sample from, give us a call. We'll send you some. If you don't want to deal with all that nonsense, go to Amazon. They have them on Amazon.
Yeah, well, I do have oil sample lab in town. It's all, I'm cut up on that. I can send it.
Then take some oil samples because you have an issue going on.
Okay, and so what should, if a oil samples, what can it show? High oxidation or high soot? Like, what should I do? Should I just refill it all over again, or it kind of feels dumb.
I mean, being in Canada, it's hard for me to give you any advice because my experience with guys in Canada, doesn't matter where they go, they better bring the hugest bottle of lube you've ever seen. So,
we do have decent shops and everything.
I'm not,
Engine Parts Canada.
Brother, I'm not saying they're not good mechanics. I'm just saying they make you sell the farm to use them. Right?
Oh yeah.
I want you to understand that I'm not saying Canada doesn't have good mechanics, but I mean technically,
this Engine Parts Canada, you need to get in touch with because they are, really selling parts, all kind aftermarket, PEI, interstate, must be everything, and it would be nice if they would sell your product.
Brother. We have 3 dealers in Canada that sell our stuff around the clock.
What's the dealer names?
You just give us a call and we hook you up with them.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Samples is the answer for the first question. I'll do that. And the second question, I bought this 6-inch cat, and the engine runs fine, no blow by anything. It's just a guy before me. He has about 2,500 hours on it since rebuilt, and he has a tune for 600 horsepower.
Yep.
Whereas I see factory is 550.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure there is no parts change internally. Should I put it back to 550? Because I see EGT is running a little bit high.
Unless you want to rebuild this one right away, because the only 600 tune out there is the C16 tune, and it will destroy that engine. It'll take it about 100,000 miles to do it, but it will destroy it.
Yeah, exactly. That's. But what should be EGT normally? Like on this N14, I have pyro after the turbo, and I only go to 900 Fahrenheit only on a very hard pull, and the long pull.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And those 6NZ goes to 900 like instantly bobtailing almost.
Because it's fueling way too hard because it thinks it's a 16-liter engine and you're gonna destroy it. It's that simple.
Yeah, this. Fuck, this guy's just crazy. All right. So what should I do on a 2,700 hours since rebuilt on this 16Z? Is it a preventive maintenance I should do? Maybe valve adjustment? Like, what should I kind of get done with it?
The manufacturers, and I agree with them, manufacturers suggest every 100,000 miles you do a overhead.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right. So nothing else preventively I can do it before kind of putting to work at this mark of 2,500 hours?
I mean, run a bypass and use good oil.
Okay. Bypass system. Okay. And should I use, because I do buy, like right now, I buy Chevron Dello semi-synthetic oils.
Probably the worst
and
oil.
change them.
Probably the worst oil ever made.
Oh, but Chevron is the oil company, they pumping oil from the ground. I thought they could have a decent additive package.
They make the additive package. That's the most psychotic thing of all. When I was at the blenders and we were talking about oil, and we were sitting in the conference room, I was like, why the hell does Chevron have the shittiest fucking oil? And everybody laughed. And it's like a phenomenon. Most people buy their additive package, the base additive package from Chevron, and they make some of the shittiest oil on the planet. And you can go look at independent people that test oil. Dello comes in at the bottom of everybody's test every single time, including where I was at. And it's just comical, right? They have Chevron has the ability to have premium oil. There is no doubt about it, but they just don't. They make economy.
They don't.
They make economy tier or group 2 economy line oil, and then for their group 3s, like your Dello, platinum or whatever the hell it is, they just mix it with group 3 oils, and they just don't have good oil. They just don't.
Oh, I see. Okay. So would you run like T6 Rotella or Petro Canada maybe?
T6 is vastly superior to Dello Platinum. Vastly superior.
And still change it at this 10,000 miles point or 12,000.
I mean, in Alaska Haul Road, I used to take T6 out to 20,000 and saw better results than taking T4 out to 10,000. That's fact.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot. That was, nice talking to you, and thank you for doing your job. And a lot of guys just going and buying new trucks nowadays because they just don't know how to work and how to deal with this older iron. But if you work it properly and you have a decent advice and everything, you still can run it. So thank you for doing this job. For guys able to run older iron and be perfectly fine with it without having a huge loans on them.
Yep. All right, brother. Well, good luck, my friend.
Yeah. Thank you. Good luck to you.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. Since you bring up ProLube, I got 3 more callers. Don't let me forget. I'm going to tell you guys something about ProLube. I figured out what's wrong with ProLube. Why it's doing what it's doing. While I was there, that was one of my missions. I told those guys about what we've seen going on with ProLube. They're like, oh, yeah, we'll show you what's wrong with ProLube. And they showed me what's wrong with ProLube. We will get to that. Let's finish off these callers. We don't want to make them wait. Stumpy, you're on the air, brother.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. What can I do for you?
I was just answering that guy asking about the number. So I got a 2019. It's don't disgrace. It's a Freightliner. I hauled 9 axle logs with it since I owned it. Since it's almost 8 years old now. I finally had a broken ring a year and a half ago, ran it, and got so bad that I was plugging oil filters. And so this breakup here, I got it rebuilt. And I went with a PAI kit. The local Cummins shop that I deal with, they put the PAI, because I'm off warranty now. I had the 7-year Cummins warranty, cost a lot of money, and it was a waste of fucking money. So now I did the new head, and I went with all PDI. And I put the PDI intake, their head, their exhaust, their turbo, and it's a Cummins engine tech that did the rebuild. And my issue now that I've got is I don't have full boost on third stage of my Jake. So I'm getting about, if I'm about 1550, I'll hit 28 PSI, not 36 pounds like I used to hit. And if I'm 1300, I barely get 20 pounds. And so the shop took it back. They changed the turbo. The first turbo they put was a Rotomaster, and then they had another one. They switched it again. Still same issue. They did they opened it up, checked the overhead again, made sure it was set right. They changed my coils. They found one O-ring looked a little shitty, and they're like,
brother,
so
is this a VGT turbo?
It is, yeah.
So let's just stop. You're not getting your Jakes. The VGT turbo's messed up. That's all there is to it. Something's not right. The actuator, the turbo, something.
That's exactly what we thought. So they changed the turbo again. Same issue, no change. So then they talked to a shop in Alberta that deals with trucks, and they said that you need a PDI's turbo. So I spent the extra money and I put PDI's turbo on there. And still think no thing.
Stuff. We do that kind of stuff all the time. Like pimp out trucks, stuff to flow better. If you even did the turbo doing this, then there's something wrong. There's something wrong in the programming. It's not actuating it properly. The only just like my buddy at K2 Diesel, Lucas said, he's going to be here in a few days. By the way, kind of excited about that. He's actually going to stay at my house. Not sure why I'm excited about that, but he makes the valid point. The VG turbo is the only thing that affects the third stage Jake.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so it has to be the turbo.
Everything.
It has to be the turbo
or the programming,
right?
Like something in so the other thing that he wanted to test is he has the shop that built the engine. It's a Cummins certified shop. They also have a dozen logging trucks, and they have a 2019 with the same engine, same blah blah blah. He wants to take the ECM off of it and put it on my truck to see if my ECM has somehow went shitty.
Your ECM didn't go shitty. Their tune is shitty. If the ECM went shitty, you would be having runnability issues, right? Something with the calibration.
My truck's not deleted though.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
No, it's everything's intact. I'm in BC.
Okay,
they got CVSE roamed around
but reel that back. It's not deleted. That doesn't mean you don't have a different tune on it, right? Is it the factory tune that came on that engine?
They reflashed it with the latest Cummins tune.
So they fucked it up.
They
fucked it up, dude.
That's the only. So he reflashed it again with Cummins Insight, the dealer Cummins Insight,
back to the tune,
and reflashed
back
it.
to the tune that he took off of it.
Possibly.
It's the tune, man. You got to get somebody to fix that thing. It's obvious that's what's going on. So,
because that's the only thing that we could think of is that it's possibly something isn't commanding that third stage, because it's all computer and that's your turbo that gives you your third stage.
What it's not is the ECM's fault. Right.
Well, the reason why he wanted to try that is I did have oil intrusion into the ECM through the oil pressure line or the oil pressure sensor. Not much, but there was signs of oil in there, so we changed that. Of course, that's always the cause of the oil in the
you can it doesn't hurt anything. Throw another ECM on there and let's see what you got going on. We'll be here next week. But I hate to say this. I know you've done you've messed with the turbo and changed the turbo and this and that. And it's still the turbo, in my opinion. But I can't just keep saying that to you because I changed the turbo. But I mean, I feel the same way Glenn does. This turbo is the problem, and I think changing the ECM is probably not going to help. But it's definitely worth doing. That way, you narrow it down even more. But we'll be here next week, man.
Yeah,
try some stuff and hit us up.
Hey, thanks, bro. I appreciate the time. Get on to the next one. Sorry to hold everybody up, but I appreciate it.
Yep, I'm trying to rush you. I know. I'm sorry. Good luck, brother.
No, it's all good. I appreciate the time.
Yep, bye.
Thanks, bro.
And lots of people are still calling in, guys. We had to cut. We're cutting it off. There's 2 callers left that are from when I said we're going to cut it off. We're already 1 minute away from the show being over. I started the show early. I'm tired. I want to go home. I love all you guys, but you know, I gotta cut it off at some point. So, 444 Big Cam, my least favorite engine. What can we do for you? Well, I guess I didn't grab him. Let's try again. Big Cam.
There we go.
Brother.
It's on now.
Yep. What can we do for you?
So we took the rocker boxes and the Jake boxes off about a month ago to put new gaskets on and new O-rings on the end of the rocker shaft.
Oh boy.
Run a rack on it, and we about 3 weeks now. It's had complaints of like other truck drivers saying something about raw fuel smell, raw fuel, but idle, there's no smoke. Riding down the road, there was no blue or white smoke. It was just a thicker black smoke. So anyway, fast forward to today, me and a mechanic up the road here, we took it apart to run the rack again. We tried the IBC method and setting it at 11 and 23 on the intake and exhaust. I'm assuming maybe he bottomed out the injectors instead of just bumping, and that might be the issue on the IBC. But anyhow, we did the OBC and torqued the injectors down to 90 inch-pounds. Every injector except for number 6 was fine. Number 6 started rattling after about 5 minutes of running up the road and back.
Mm-hmm.
What is the proper way on those 444s? I got an 87 with the CPL 821.
So 2 things really quick. Did you say you changed the rocker boxes?
No. We just took the rocker boxes and all off to put new gaskets on. That's all we done.
Okay, and we're 100% sure that we matched what came off?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So we know where we didn't get it out of time, in other words.
No, not out of time. Nope.
So I have never rebuilt the 444. We have done several of them. I hate them. We've done several of them in this shop. I'm not a big fan of that engine, but I do know that the very first one we did, we had the identical problem that you're having. And what we found out is that the injector, the torque for the injector is way different than your regular 855.
Right.
And I don't remember what our resolution was and how we figured it all out, but obviously it's something up there. If you're sure that it's in time, it's something about the way you guys are doing the injectors. Now you say YouTube is awesome, says quick serve is your friend. That's part of the problem. You're not going to find those older engines in quick serve. They don't service those. You have to buy them.
No, you it's very hard to find anything about it, man. It's very hard.
So,
and even going by the manual, because he's got a Cummins book. There's another guy that we've dealt with for years. You know, it's been a long time since he's messed with them, but he's looked in his book, and I mean, it's just everything they're coming up with is just something just ain't right somewhere.
Because here's probably why. Okay, and I'm just taking a stab at it. We have the books, but when I say we have the books, it would blow your mind if you came in here and saw our Cummins books because there's so many. You probably are not looking at the book. Almost bet you money, and that's what's going on. The 444 is its own book. Here's what I would recommend. Go on what I'm having a brain for eBay. eBay is where I get all of our books like that. Go on eBay, put in that engine that you're trying to do, and you should be able to find it on eBay because people are making them nonstop and having them up for sale.
Okay. All right.
I almost bet you money because we had the same problem, and I had to scramble and get us a book that was compatible, and we thought we had every damn, we had the Big Cam 3 book, a Big Cam 4 book, and all the N14 books, and when we finally ran into a 444, that information was leading us down the wrong road, and the biggest problem we ran into was the injector settings.
Yeah, that seems to be the only issue we're having. I mean, we got the number one injector, the set screw for it. When you go to set it, for some reason that set screw's higher than the rest, and that doesn't make any sense.
You're describing the identical problem we had. You're not setting them right. You gotta get somehow you gotta get the right information. I could probably walk here in the back and figure it out for you. That's just it's a little bit beyond what we're doing here on the show. But what I can tell you is that we had the identical problem, and it was because we didn't have the right formula. That was the problem.
Sure. All right. Ain't no way I could call you tomorrow, is it?
To think how help you a little more. I mean, honestly, if you own the truck, dude, you need the manual. You know what I mean? You're going to be right here again on something.
Yeah, we've only had we bought the truck back in September last year, and it had already been through the shop. It had been worked on. I mean, it hadn't long been rebuilt before we got it. The guy took it up to Velocity in Knoxville, had 3 new heads and a turbo. We weren't really expecting to have that manual so soon.
Yeah, I mean, I never want to work on one again. I'd give you my manual. But again, some guy commented on here. The guys that make them. Just get that information off Cummins and put them on a pen drive. But actually, all these older manuals, like we're talking about your engine, all the ones I own that I bought off eBay, they're all original. They're all beat up when I got them. You know what I mean? But I've never not been able to find the manual I was looking for on eBay. So that's where I'd start, man.
All right, I'll do it, man. I appreciate it.
Yep. Have a good night, man, and good luck.
All right, bud. Have a good one.
Bye. All right, that's the last caller. I did hang up on like 10 people. I apologize, everybody. I hung up on. I just got to get this show wrapped up. So it is what it is. We've already, according to my phone line, we've been on here for 2 hours and 30 minutes already. So I already had a much longer show than normal. So we'll shut down the phone line. I wanted to tell you guys my little story. How about some crazy eyes? Those are reserved for my haters, and I don't think there's any on here tonight. There was 2 different ones in the comment sections trying to be disruptive and assholes, and I just blocked them. But sorry, I just saw something that was interested in me on TikTok there. So, you were on hold, Glenn? Man, how am I supposed to know? It don't tell me that. There is a little, what do you call it? There's a screener there. You could have said, it's Glenn Long. Don't hang up on me, you dickweed. That might have helped. I'm just saying. If you don't go through the little prompt steps there. I don't know who you are. About. Oh, you weren't really, dick. It does have a prompt, like, it tells you, what's your name? What are you calling about? And that makes it way easier. And a lot of people refuse to say anything, and it just says, cat engine. Like, thanks, dickhead. It's a little easier if I can say your name and we kind of get the formalities out of the way. So onto the Pro Lube. Let me tell you. So when I was there, I was like, I was telling them I have that Timken machine. You guys, if you follow me, I have that machine like Papa uses on the Pro Lube. I have the same machine. And but when I was making videos with that, I had guys in the oil industry reach out to me and they said, that you shouldn't use that machine. That machine, it deceives people. It doesn't tell you it's a good oil. And while I was there, I asked, these guys that are the experts of all experts in this, and they had one of those machines sitting there, and I was like, what is this machine good for? And he's like, it's good for measuring shear value. And he's like, but it doesn't tell you anything else, so it's not really good test for oil. And I was like, yeah, I've been told that. And then I was like, hey, I wanted to, while we're talking about this machine, I was going to ask you about Pro Lube. And everybody starts laughing, and I'm like, yeah, okay, what's the joke? And he's like, well, every couple of years you get an oil like Pro Lube that comes out, and they're the big thing, and everybody buys them, and then they go away. And it's because they're selling snake oil. And what they do is that Timken machine, all you have to do is put a shit ton of chlorine in your mixture, and it will do that. And you could do it with any oil. You can take any oil, take the chlorine and bring it through the roof, and it will run on that machine and give you those results. The problem is chlorine will absolutely destroy the oil. It will make it psychotically acidic, and it will eat everything up. Well, instantly that made sense to me. What are we seeing? We're seeing a product you can put on the Timken machine, and it will just perform like nobody's business. And we see Project Farm or Adept Ape or whoever it was that tested their oil, and they're like, this is off the charts acidic. Right? Well, that's what we see. We see these bearings that are getting destroyed in 1,000 miles of running Pro Lube. What can do that to bearings? Only one thing that can do that to bearings is if the acidity went off of the charts, went off the chain. And that's what I saw in all the oil samples that people sent me. Like, I have a problem, and I'm looking at the oil sample, and the only thing I did was Pro Lube, and the acidic numbers were off the charts. Like, all the alarm bells. Well, it's because they just pump it like ungodly numbers of chlorine, and it will do that on the machine, but it destroys your engine. So it was really cool. It's really cool to be with guys that just understand all of that stuff, and they could show me exactly why it performs well here, but actually is detrimental. So I was like, well, people got to be calling Pro Lube saying they're having a problem. He's like, oh yeah, I guarantee that guy's phone is blowing up around the clock with people saying, I think your oil ruined my engine. He's just ignoring them all because he's making a small fortune on it in the meantime. Anyway, I thought I would share that all with you guys because, we've kind of all shared this Pro Lube adventure together. I don't want to make a bunch of videos about it and be asked to the Pro Lube guy, but at the same time, what a scam. What a scam. And unfortunately, I know several people that have had their engines destroyed that I am 99% convinced that oil did it to it. Proofs in the chlorine. Showing my age by saying it's off the chain. Yeah, I was born in the 70s, man. I'm getting old. I'll be 50 in just a couple years. But anyway, not the kind of old where I need to go in a wheelchair, but I've definitely seen a few things. Yeah, don't use it in your Duramax. Why add chlorine to oil? If you add chlorine to oil on that Timken bearing test, you will outperform everything on the planet on that Timken bearing test. That's why guys do it, but the actual, yeah, it's only for the test. You dump it full of green, impress everybody on that Timken bearing. Only shows you the sheer value of oil, which is a small metric on what makes it oil good oil. Just talk to me on the 444. Does tightening to the bump and backing off too flat sound right for the injectors on the ABC method? Brother, man, I have my brother-in-law. I wish he was sitting here with us. Guy's a fucking wizard. If you remember, a guy called in earlier and he's like, yeah, I've met Chris. My brother-in-law, Chris, for the people that interact with us, like people will come here and just ask to talk to him. They won't even want to talk. They're not even asking for me, and I'm this famous guy, so to speak. And he's very famous too. And he's never made a social media video ever. So what's that tell you? When we were in North Dakota, people would travel from all over just to have him look at their truck. The guy is the truck whisperer. And he has built every 444 that ever came through here. He could answer your question in 5 seconds, but he ain't here. So unfortunately, if you give us a call tomorrow, part of the job of the people that screen our calls, though, is to keep people like you from getting a hold of us, not to be assholes, but because we get 500 phone calls like that a day. I'm trying to think of a good way for us to help you out. Yeah, call the call center tomorrow and say I was on Aaron's show. He told me to give you guys a call, and he would try to help me out with a 444 problem. They will pass that information on to me along with your number, and I'll see if my brother-in-law can help you out. So try that. That'd be the thing. Anyway, guys, do we have a website? No, we don't have a website. We're almost done with it. My son is working on it like crazy. We have paid about $140,000 for NetSuite and almost $45,000 for our website, and neither are done. When those are done, our customer service will go through the roof. We're working on it. But for now, you just have to give us a call. We'd like to talk to you anyway. Love you guys. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the brothers that come here and help us. Call Titus. Man, Titus wouldn't know the answer to that question. Get out of here. Good guy. Good guy. Loves helping people. Does his best. But he won't know the answer to that. You guys have a good night. I'll see you next week. Appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot. Here in a couple of weeks, I'll be shooting this from my boat as we're coming down around, and I'm going to document all that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We bought a bunch of special 360 cameras and stuff. I'm going to set them up everywhere and do it like a documentary. Should be a lot of fun. It's going to be very similar to what I spent my time in Alaska, because I was on trawlers up in Alaska, and that's what I bought. I bought a trawler. It's considered a yacht, but it is a trawler, what they would call a long distance cruiser, a blue water boat. In other words, it can take 18-foot seas in theory, and you'll live through it. Anyway, it should be a lot of fun. So love you guys. Talk to you soon. Yeah, I'm gonna stop in Colombia and get 100 kilos of cocaine. Now that's a good idea. You guys have a good night. I'll see you on the next one. How do you get on the show? If I remember right, Glenn, you're a dealer with us. These guys set up dealers to come on here all the time. Like you've seen Lucas with K2 on here. Yeah, that's a thing, man. We like to promote the guys in this industry that are good people, and it's a good way to get your business out there. And I don't begrudge anybody using me for that. I have no problem with that. Especially if you're working with us, we know you're a good person and all that. Give us a call. What you should do, Glenn, is just insist somebody tell the sales team that you need to talk to me. and I'll just give you a call. That's not that hard. It's not like I care if it's not like I'm hiding from everybody. I'm certainly not. But you guys also have to understand on the other side of that, we can get a couple of hundred inquiries a day of people that are just trying to ask me a question, and it's the kind of answer on this show. We have to shield me from that a little bit, or I would just be stuck. But to give you an example, Glenn, Lucas is coming to my house. If he never tried to reach out and talk to me, that wouldn't be happening, right? I obviously have no problem talking to people. I just can't talk to everyone. Of course. That's why we do the show. Love you guys. Thank you. See you next week.